All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Couch Warrior podcast. I'm your host, as always, Mike. And today I'm going live to break down UFC Vegas 68 early with my guy, Wiz Bets. What's good, Wiz? Thanks for coming on with me, brother. You looking forward to this card? It's okay to say no.
Mike, as always, thank you for having me on. It's always fun doing this show. And you know what? There's a couple of sleepers on this card that I'm kind of looking forward to. I know there's a bunch of names that people haven't even heard before because most people didn't really follow the road
Road
to
to
the
UFC.
UFC series. So I'm excited for it because there's a couple of finishers in here, and I like the violence that these guys bring. So bring it on.
Hell yeah. I actually did follow Road to UFC. So that's like the only part of the card that I'm actually hyped for. I feel like those are fun fights and the rest is kind of crap, but we'll talk about it and we'll get right into it. So for our first fight here, we've got Tatsuro Taira versus Jesus Aguilar. Tatsuro Taira's 12-0, undefeated as a pro. He's 23 years old, 5'7" with a 70-inch reach. And for his camp, I don't know if Wiz, at any point, just chime in. We're going to go with Tapology. Yeah, so we're going to go with the Tapology one, Paraisho Kanawa. Jesus is 8-1-0. He's 26 years old, so he's 3 years older, 5'4". He's 3 inches shorter, and he does have a 63-inch reach, little dinosaur arms. He's given up 7 inches in reach, literally a T-Rex. And yeah, I mean, the odds are here for a reason. Wiz, what do you think of this one?
I mean, the odds are very indicative of what I think here, to be honest, because I'm aligned. I think he is going to look like a minus 1,000 favorite here, if not more. Aguilar is just outmatched everywhere, sadly. I'm trying to keep it as clear as I can. And then, like, for some of these fights, just a disclaimer on my end, like the Road to UFC fights, just because we don't have too much information on the fighters, I probably won't have the most emphatic breakdown or the most in-depth breakdown. But this fight, obviously, we have two guys that are coming off the Contender Series. Taira, who already made his debut, looking amazing in the UFC so far over his first couple of fights. And then you have this guy in Jesus Aguilar, who, quite frankly, is known to be a guillotine specialist. And if we didn't learn anything from last week with Simon Oliveira, those guys just don't really do much in the UFC. They don't tend to have a great career in the UFC or a long career for what it's worth. Aguilar is going to be at a huge reach disadvantage, as you mentioned. Taira has sneaky KO power. I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, oh, Taira sub again, Taira sub or Taira decision. If I were to touch this fight, I'll probably take a small lean on the Taira KO, just depending on the number that I get. But I don't know, man. It's just something that you can't really touch on the money line. So I'm gonna have to take the Taira KO, even though this Jesus Aguilar guy is pretty durable, I would say. He just tends to gas out towards the end of the second round. If this does extend, I think Taira can win, but via TKO in the third. So that's my official prediction: TKO third round.
I'm hyped you said the KO because that's something I'm thinking about too. Real quick, Herb Dean's the gold standard. Thanks for tuning in, brother. Is Taira or Nakamura the better prospect? I think Taira is. We'll talk about Nakamura later, but I like Taira. How about you, Wiz?
100%. The dude is just way far ahead in his career. That's one thing. Already in the UFC with a couple of fights under his belt, and the kid is so young. I'm not
22.
sure. Do you know the age for Nakamura? Because I did not quite get
For
that.
Nakamura, I can tell you. I'll pull it up. It's not on his thingy.
I don't remember it. That's the thing.
He's 27.
Okay, so yeah, a lot younger, and he's already this far into his career, and he's shown the ability to be able to mix it up. He's not a one-trick pony, so I like Taira a lot more. And if he has 4 more years under his belt, I think he's going to be, oh my god, a problem for this flyweight division.
Hell yeah, I see Taira in the top 10 personally. But
yeah,
breaking this fight down, look, I faded Aguilar with Ferreira on the Contender Series fight. I was confident in Ferreira, and he did look good until he started getting tired, and he's made some of the worst fight IQ decisions I've ever seen. And Aguilar pulled through. I mean, the one thing the guy does have is heart, right? He won't give up. He'll come in there and fight till the very end. But I kind of think he sucks. Like, he's not a very good striker. He's extremely hittable. Taira's going to have a 7-inch reach advantage. He's not a huge striker, but he has a good jab, and his strikes are straight. I think he's going to be landing a lot on this guy. And that's why I think a KO standing is live. And I think a KO on the ground, a TKO is also live. I don't see Aguilar wrestling at all. If anyone's going to wrestle, it's going to be Taira, and I think it's going to be very successfully. If you watch him when he shoots, he's actually very careful of where his head is. So I don't see Aguilar just pulling a guillotine and winning that way. So yeah, I get these odds, but the way I'm kind of looking at it, 5 dimes has Taira inside the distance at -135. If we get that on books that are available to us, like if Bet Online gives me -135, I'm all over that. I think he's going to kill this guy in like the first round. You're going to give me ITD at almost even money. Nuts.
Bring it over.
Hell yeah.
I need that.
But all right, we can move on to the next one that's not a -1,000 favorite. We've got Jeong Yeong Park versus Denis Tiuliulin. Park is 15-5-0, 31 years old. He's 5'10" with a 73-inch reach, and he's training out of Korean top team, I believe. I thought he was at Sanford, but I couldn't find anything on it. So Tiuliulin on the other side, he's 11-6-0, 34 years old, so he's 3 years older. 6'1", he's 3 inches taller, and he's got a 77-inch reach, a 4-inch reach advantage, and he's training out of Extreme Couture. He's allegedly a sparring partner of Sean Strickland, so you know the guy can brawl. And if you watch his last fight, he certainly looks like a training partner of Sean Strickland in the way he fights. I'll start this one off real quick. Any action, Effie? Thank you for tuning in. No, I don't think so. I think it'll go under. And Kiarix, my guy.
My guy, Kiarix, always on the streams.
Hell yeah, since day one. But in regards to this fight, I was going back and forth. I like Tiuliulin in general. I liked him in the Pickett fight. I did back him there. I was hesitant though, because I don't know. He's pretty hittable. He's a good striker, but he's still pretty hittable. Don't love that. You do love the takedown defense, right? Even against good guys, he's got good takedown defense. Pickett went 0-4 or 0-5, something like that. And you look at his sub losses. He's got 3: Khizriev, Aliskarov, who's now in the UFC as well, and a Murabshkoev, who's now 7-0. So he's obviously very good as well. And Park, he has sub wins. Not only one in the UFC was Holmes, though. He's been submitted twice. I don't see that happening against Tiuliulin. And he's only been knocked out once against the Brazilian Barack Obama. And, he almost got the finish there. That's one of my favorite KO sequences in a minute. That one and Dariush Close are like identical pretty much, where one guy's almost knocked out. He gets the finish. But I feel like maybe he can get knocked out here again. He's very hittable, I noticed, and doesn't really move his head all that much. He just moves forward. He's a good boxer, but he struggles a bit at range, especially with bigger guys. And Denis is going to be bigger. I think at range, he's a much better striker. And as long as Park's not getting him down, I think it's Denis all day. I might look at maybe Tiuliulin decision, no action, because if we do get to a decision, I think maybe it's probably Park grinding something out. So maybe I'll play it that way. I don't know yet. We don't have the full props, but what are you thinking, Wiz?
Yeah, I think we're on opposite sides here. So is this a should we bet?
I could be down in this one.
I'm down. So here's the thing. If you guys see me looking this way, I'm looking at my notes and at my other screen. So just be mindful. I think Park is a solid striker. He has really good durability and great cardio, which is one thing that's going to play hand in hand with what I think the outcome of this fight is going to be. It's great. The cardio is great to have against a guy like Tiuliulin. Tiuliulin really has a round and a half of gas, maybe just a round. By the way he swings, he gasses himself out too quick. He throws everything into every punch, which we saw against Jamie Pickett, and he barely got him out there. He was death gassed when he got Pickett out of there. And I backed Tiuliulin there. FYI, I'm 100% backing Tiuliulin, or on Tiuliulin fights. Backed him against Pickett, W. Faded him against, what's his name? Khizriev. On the early line. Bang.
I took a shot on that one. 1-1 with him.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm proud of it. 1-1. Woo! But yeah, I think Tiuliulин's a power puncher. He can knock him out, that's for sure. But what happens when this fight gets extended, which Park is really good at doing, and really dragging these guys out to where we expect Park to get knocked out or to get seriously hurt, and then all of a sudden it's the third round, the other guy's gassed, and Park is just laying it on him. That's what I think is going to happen in this fight. I think Tiuliulin is going to fall apart as the fight goes on with the cardio. And I think Park is the better boxer overall. I think he has better defense than Tiuliulin. Even though he doesn't have the KO power that Tiuliulin has. I'm just going to call him Denis because that's a tongue twister. Damn. he doesn't have the power of that Denis has, but I think the volume is going to be a difference here, and he's going to be able to wear on him late. So I think Park is going to be able to clinch him up for a decent amount, get some control time against the cage, use the dirty boxing, and win a very close decision here. So I'm going to be on Park.
All right, so you heard it here first, guys. We've got our first shoey bet. I say first because it's only 3 fights in,
Oh
2
yeah,
fights in. So maybe there's going to be another one or two. But yeah,
3.
opposite sides here. I do think if we go to decision, it'll probably be Park. So I'm going to be looking at that decision, no action prop when we get it. Papa Chuck, yo to yourself. Thanks for tuning in, brother. And all right, we've got a fight that I'm not looking forward to at all. I don't think anyone is. But we've got to do it anyways. We've got Jeong Kim versus Mandy Bohm. Kim is 9'6" 33 years old, 5'7" with a 72-inch reach, and she's at Bank Tao, so that's a good gym for her. Bohm, she's 7'2" 33 years as well, which I thought she was way younger. 5'7" as well, 71-inch reach. She's given up 1 inch in reach. And oh, did I put the wrong link? Of course I did. Okay, well, you guys got to give me some slack. I'm in the middle of a move, so my head's been all over the place. But yeah, I tweaked there. But back to this fight. Bohm is training out of Extreme Couture. Also a good step up for her. She was there for her last fight against Leonardo, so maybe it's not that good. But Wiz, what do you think for this one?
I'm gonna need a sip before this one. It's the return of Mandy Bohm. Mandy Bohm, once touted by someone I'm not going to name as the future champion of the division. And I was,
I think I know who you're talking about.
oh my God.
I've got 2 open stream links. Okay, Wiz, keep talking. I'm going to look at this real quick.
I got you. Taping this fight took so many years off my life. I don't know why I did it. And I didn't know the odds going into taping. And here's the issue, because I really like one side. So I'm gonna go with the breakdown here. Kim has a solid distance control, throws a lot of volume, and she has very good cardio. That's the one thing I have to give to her. Against Cachoeira, that fight, she really impressed me, and I think she won there. The volume and the power she was putting, very solid combos, very solid jabs down the middle. I love her striking. Mandy Bohm has solid 1s and 2s, but is very low volume. Like she will just be content with doing a little bit of a cardio matchup, like a little jogathon around the octagon for the 15 minutes and throw a couple of punches, and that's it. The fight's probably going to be played out on the feet. None of these girls really like to grapple, and Kim is the much better striker. It's very binary to me. If not even binary, just I think it's a single outcome. I think it's going to be Jeong Kim via decision. The issue here is, after taping this fight and being very confident, surprisingly, on Jeong Kim, I go to look at the odds and I'm disgusted. Minus 280. Oh, I really wanted a better, but I'm not betting these odds on WMMA. There's just no way. You have to give me a minus 110 to minus 130 at the most, and I would have taken Jeong Kim. But do I want a heart attack? Do I really need this? No. So I'm passing. But Jeong Kim via decision. If it doesn't happen, then something's wrong with the world.
All right, I'm back. So I figured out what I did wrong. When I started the link, I was confused why it said we're starting early. And turns out I started the regular breakdown, not the early breakdown link. So I'm going to have to change a bunch of stuff. I'm a tweak. I put up the right link on Twitter now. My fault, guys. But luckily, we've still got a decent group in here. Thanks for everyone tuning in. And as for this fight, I don't have much to add. Mandy Bohm is just abysmally bad. Jeong Kim's not some stud herself, but she's got a really good output. Literally. And she's got a good output. She doesn't have much power, but I just don't see what Mandy has for her. If Victoria Leonardo is closing the range and landing on you, I mean, Jeong Kim's just going to piece you the hell up. So I like Kim by decision. It's going to be, right now, it looks decent on 5 dimes. It's literally minus 125, which I think is great. Prince of Mischief saying Kim inside the distance. I wouldn't be awfully shocked. Plus 385 on 5 dimes if you're into that kind of thing. I don't think I am, but we can move on to a more fun fight. All right, so we're starting the tournament finals now. This one is at featherweight. We've got Hyung Park versus Seung Choi. Park is 7-0, undefeated as a pro, 27 years old. He's 5'7" with a 66-inch reach. And as for his camp, I've got, let me double check. I've got Bang Tao for him. On the other side, you've got Seung Choi. He's 6'1" 26 years old. He's 1 year younger. 5'6". He's 1 inch shorter, and he's given up 2 inches in reach with a 64-inch reach, training under the Korean Zombie. So I'll start this one off. My turn. Unlike my original tape, I like to tape early, and then I like to tape once the event's closer. So when I originally taped it, I wanted to see if I would play Seung Choi as the dog. And I was like, nah, I like Park. I don't like him enough to play him, so I'm just going to pass. And then I taped it again a little closer to the show yesterday, and I think Seung Choi can do this thing. Like Park, I know, like I don't like his wins in the Contender Series. I don't think he really had that good of competition. Saragih is just tiny, like really tiny, and Kiram I love. He's really dope. He smokes bogeys before and after his fights. He's got this personality, great striker, but super one-dimensional. The second you take him down, he's a beached fish, whatever, beached whale. And then on the other side with Choi, he's actually got 2 decent wins on the road to UFC. The Quilon fight is pretty good. Didn't love how he looked against Supandi, who's not very good either, but he really picked it up in the next fight. Both guys are not the best strikers. I maybe like the striking of Park a tiny bit more, but if you look at both, they're both more comfortable on the ground. And while you look at Park and you're like, all right, he's got 3 submission wins, took Kiram's back standing. And then you look at Choi, he doesn't have any sub wins, but I actually think Choi is low-key better on the ground. His wrestling is really good. I love the double, the trip, and he had a really slick back take on Quilon also, who's no joke in the grappling. So I think he can grind this out. I don't see him getting a finish. There's a reason pretty much all his fights have gone to decision. So I like the dog. I played him at plus 174 on FanDuel for 0.6 units to win just over 1. And yeah, I think he can grind out the decision. My pick is Choi. How about you, Wiz?
Right back at you. Park has decent striking, really good jab down the middle, and I like his wrestling game a lot. Really good choke series, but the issue I've seen is that he does not like being on the back foot. And the one thing that Choi is really good at is pushing the pace and putting it on his opponents. He likes to be on the front foot. He likes to lead the dance. And the one difference, like you said, the striking of both guys is pretty similar. The one difference I would say with Choi is that he uses his feints to his advantage, and his feints are pretty solid. Like he catches reactions on these feints because he pushes the pace. When you're pushing that kind of pace on someone and they're flustered in the striking and they're still not yet comfortable with their hands, and you start hitting all these feints, you're going to draw the biggest reactions. And when that happens, openings will be there. And I think Choi can knock him out here. With the pressure, with the feints, and overall just getting the openings and the striking. I think he low-key has some good power. The one thing also that separates the striking is the leg kicks and the body kicks. Choi's body kicks are ruthless. I love the way he sets them up with the striking. So given that they're similar in the striking department, but I like Choi a little bit more since he feints. The wrestling is pretty equal in my opinion. I'm going to have to go with a dog. If you're giving me plus 170 odds on a dog who I think is a better striker and is equal in the wrestling, I'm going to have to go with it. So I laid 0.75 units on him to win around like 1.35. So yeah, give me Choi.
I love our unit sizing for this one. We both have something weird, but yeah, one other thing I wanted to mention was Park's only been to decision 1 time, and most of his fights end like really early. So I'm very curious how it's going to look if Choi extends him to round 2, round 3. So I wouldn't be shocked with the finish, but you're brave with that KO. All right, we'll move on to the next one. We were talking about this fella a little bit earlier. This is the bantamweight finals. We've got Rinya Nakamura versus Toshiomi Kazama. Nakamura is 6-0, undefeated as a pro. He's 27 years old, 5'7" with a 68-inch reach. And I don't have anything from Instagram, so I'm going with LDH Martial Arts. For Kazama, he's 10-2-0, got quite a bit more fights. He's 25 years old. He's 2 years younger, 5'7", to the same height, and he's got a 1-inch reach advantage. Training out of, again, I'm going with Tapology. I've got Wajutsu Kishukai Hearts. Sorry if I butchered that. I did my best. Wiz, why don't you start us off, brother?
Yeah, I think the odds pretty much have it right here. Minus 450 for Nakamura average. He's the better grappler and wrestler in my opinion. Both, I mean, I'm not saying that Kazama is the bad grappler or wrestler at all because he has pretty decent ground game as well. But overall, I prefer Nakamura on the ground. I prefer him on the feet as well. Strikes a little bit faster, has some more power. I think he can finish Kazama he has drowning top pressure. That's the one thing that I noticed. And if Nakamura gets him on the ground and he's in full mount, or if he's just overall in an advantageous position with solid control, I think he's able to get him out of there, whether it's submission, whether it's TKO. I like Nakamura and the under 2.5. I think the under 2.5 would probably be a little bit better if they're on the feet because Nakamura is a better striker in my opinion. So if this stays on the feet, I know we were talking about this a little bit earlier in the week. Under 2.5 should be easy for either fighter. Like I'm not gonna go ahead and bet Nakamura at minus 450 because obviously we don't really have too much info on the guy. But given that these fighters do tend to finish a lot, I'm gonna have to take the under 2.5.
All right, I'm gonna put my glasses on for this. So, yeah, this one's interesting to me because first off, I'm going to be talking about the competition a lot because I think certain people got really good matchups and certain people got really hard matchups. And I think Nakamura got some really nice, easy matchups. He had Gugan Guzman first, who's not very good. And then he had Shohei Nose in the next one, who's decent, but not that good either. Got a really quick finish in both. Again, another guy who hasn't really been extended much. And look, yeah, I think he's better on the feet. But I do think Kazama has some good things. He's a little awkward, and he doesn't really work at range much. I'll talk about that in a sec. But when he is at range, his jab is good, got a good front kick, and sometimes he's got combinations. But what he really does, he just wears on you. Like he'll grab you and just hold you there and just start hitting you with knees and just even if you're in the middle of the cage, and he just doesn't let go. He's like glue. So I feel that if Nakamura doesn't finish him early, he can squeeze this out. I do think that's entirely possible. I was going to join you on that under, and then because of this, I kind of felt like uncomfortable with that. I'm going to see what they give me with Kazama by decision because I would take him money line, but I honestly don't want to stake more than 1/10 of a unit on this because Nakamura is a stud, and he should win this. Dude's like a he's a world level, not Olympian, wrestler. Did not wrestle in the Olympics. He actually wanted to, but didn't because of COVID. It stopped it, so he went into MMA. We've heard that story before. But yeah, I'm going to see what I can get Kazama by decision because I think if he extends the fight, he can win it in the later rounds.
100%.
All right. Got a play here. We've got Zha Yi versus Jeong Yeong Lee. Yi is 21-3-0, 26 years old, 5'7" with a 71-inch reach. And for him, let me double check. Yeah, I've got Enbo. Lee on the other side, he's 9-1-0, 27 years old. He's 5'10" so he's 3 inches taller, 73-inch reach. He's got a 2-inch reach advantage. I have Sen Jim because I'm just going with Tapology. I couldn't figure it out from his Instagram. Although I did think he was training under Korean Zombie. I'm not positive though. So I think it's my turn to start. I played Zha Yi. I played him for 1 unit. I got plus 211, I believe. Yeah, I got plus 211. It's still there on Bet Online. Hasn't budged. And look, I recognize that on the feet, he could very well get knocked out. So I'm not putting more than a unit on it because it's so confusing, Yi and Lee. If Lee does anything really well, it's the striking. He's a nasty striker. He is going to have the size edge here. And he does have nasty arm bars. All 3 submission wins by arm bar. Maybe if Zha Yi's taking him down a bunch, he'll throw that up and get it. He's very fast with it. So there's concerns backing Yi. But that said, there's concerns backing Lee as well because Lee, before the tournament, his last fight was in 2019. He hasn't gone longer than 40 seconds in a fight. Love it, Wiz. He hasn't gone past 40 seconds in a fight in 3 fights since 2018. It's been almost 5 years since the guy has gone past 40 seconds, and we want him to be a -2 something favorite. I don't see it at all. I think that as long as Zha Yi can survive on the feet, he's not out of water there either. He's got 6 knockout wins. He's a really good striker. And my freaking guy, Lou, look, what's good, brother? The 0 hat sunglasses between the two. I'm wearing a hat. Who are these fighters? Complete no. I wouldn't call them no names. They're pretty decent. Well, you guys will see. You guys will see. But yeah, Zha Yi's my pick, plus 211. How about you, Wiz, with your cool glasses?
Is this a shoey?
This is the shoey?
Is this a shoey?
Oh, I mean, do you want to do 2 to 1? If I win, you have to do 2? Because it's
hey.
plus
I
200.
don't want to do no 2 to 1 on fighters that I barely watch.
So you want me to take it when it's -2, like what is it, -250 on the other side?
I don't know. You tell me.
You know what, Lou? For the last show in this apartment, honestly, I could do better. I'll be right back. Wiz,
I'm gonna break this down. Look at this. So I'm gonna say Zha as in Yi, because I'm not gonna say Yi and Lee to confuse you guys. Zha and I'm gonna say Lee. So Zha and Lee. I think Zha has solid striking, good jabs, good 1-2s with quick leg kick combos, decent power. The issue is that his striking defense is non-existent. Lee is a phenomenal counter striker with next level striking defense, in my opinion. I think he might have a decent future in the UFC, depending on the matchup, obviously. But in this matchup, he's going to have the striking advantage. He's going to be good on the feet in the defense department. And he's not afraid to get into the pocket and exchange due to his durability that he trusts, and his freaking power is nuts. 3 KOs on his record, and I believe he has 2 submissions. So I got to go with Lee in this one, inside the distance, due to that KO power. Zha is just a defensive liability on the feet. As I mentioned, his striking defense is just not there. And if he gets hit with one of these punches, he's probably going to be going out. He has a lot of holes in his striking, and I think they're going to be exploited. So I haven't placed a bet on Lee yet, but if anything, it'll just be in like a long shot parlay. I don't really like to back these big favorites on, debuts.
All right, feel you. So we're on opposite sides there. No shoey bet because it's just not fair. And we're gonna move on.
Hey, we did it on the first one. The first one you took the dog.
Yeah, but it's not plus 211. He's like plus 170 or something.
Yeah, it's right there almost.
I'm not too crazy. But this fight here for the finals at 155 is easily my favorite fight. I've got 3 units on one side. We'll talk about it soon. So we've got Anshul Jubli versus Jeka Saragih. Jubli's 6-0, undefeated as a pro. He's 6 feet tall, so he's very large for the division, and you can see it. He's got a 69-inch reach, and he actually trains out of Tiger Muay Thai, and I believe he spent some time at Bali MMA as well. Jeka, he's 13-2-0, 28 years old, 5'8", so he's going to be 4 inches shorter, 69-inch reach as well. And for him, I've got Satria Nagara fighting camp. Wiz, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, this one's gonna be fun. Jubli is an all right striker, I would say, with pretty decent grappling, good sweeps, good sprawls. I like the grappling quite a bit, and he likes to hunt the sub. Excuse me. He likes to hunt the sub, as I was saying. And Saragih, I think, is the better striker with a little bit more volume than Jubli here. But the issue is that he has a hole, which is the grappling defense, and I think Jubli is going to expose that pretty often here, and he's probably going to win a decision. I think he's going to try and lay in prey with some ground and pound a little bit mixed in, just so he doesn't get stood up throughout the 3 rounds, and Jubli wins by decision. I haven't bet him yet, but I'm probably going to be putting 1.5 units on Jubli. I just think that the grappling is going to be a little bit too much for Jeka here.
Okay, we're on the same side for this one. I really like Jubli, man. I really like him. Going into his last fight against Kyung Pyo Kim, who's actually very good as well. And Kim was the favorite there. I was going to go with Kim in that fight. And I ended up staying off because I really liked Jubli, but his competition level was horrible. So it's like it was impossible to tell how good he was. But then he fought Kim, and I was like, damn, all right, this guy is really good. Like, he's legit. And Jeka, if anything, I feel like once he started fighting in Road to UFC, I was like, this guy's not very good. And then you watch his fight with Anga Hans, he got out grappled horribly. Anga was also in the tournament, lost in the first round. Sucks, honestly. And getting out grappled by him and then submitted in the fourth round, not a good look. I honestly, like, I do think that Jubli has a grappling edge, and if he wants to use it, he could. I think he's fine on the feet here too, though. He's bigger. He's rangy. He knows how to use that range. I think he's going to stay out of the pocket for the most part. He has moments where he can give up some nice shots, and Jeka could be live. He's got a nasty body kick, nasty head kick. If Jeka does anything well, it's exploding into strikes. He's dirty. But I just think Jubli's going to be better everywhere, including the striking. And unless he gets knocked out, I think he wins this fight. 3 units. I got him as a dog at plus 110. And then they took down the line, but now it's back up. Now they made me look like a liar because they reopened it at minus 110. But just as proof that I'm not lying, the other books still have the dog odds, all right? I'm not a liar. But anyways, yeah, Wiz, you broke this down too, and we can move on.
Yes, sir.
Both on Jubli. All right, so for this one, I've got another dog. Not as happy about it, but we've got Yusaku Kinoshita versus Adam Fugitt. Kinoshita is 6-1-0. He's 22 years old, 6 feet tall with a 72-inch reach. And for him, let me double check. I do know the answer to this. He's at Sanford MMA. And on the other side, we've got Adam Fugitt. He's 8-3-0. He's 34 years old. He's going to be 12 years older. 6'1". He's 1 inch taller, 77-inch reach. He is going to have a 5-inch reach advantage, which I think is relevant. And he's training out of Art of War MMA and Fitness. So for this fight, I'm going with Fugitt, and I do respect Kinoshita. I think he's really good. I tried to fade him on the Contender Series. Didn't work out for me. And I'm doing it again. I'm keeping it small. I did a half unit at plus 200. You can get a way better line now. I messed that one up. But when I look at this fight, I look at Kinoshita, and he sucks at range. Like, he's not good at range, takes a ton of shots, but he's happy to do it. He's happy to eat shots to give them, close the distance. Okay, you hurt me a little bit. Now watch what I can do. Kind of like Josiane Nunes last week, right? At getting murdered. Dude, I had Farazar in there, and everyone was calling me crazy all week. And I didn't even care about the money anymore. I just wanted to be like, I'm not crazy. I feel like I could still say that if you watch it, but
oh no, that was a solid bet.
Right?
But she just gassed the hell out.
She gassed so hard. It was so bad. And then I thought she was coming back in the third round and gassed again. But back to this fight, I think Kinoshita is really dirty in the pocket. That's where he's most dangerous and against the cage. But one other thing I'd mention, his takedown defense is terrible. I saw him get taken down on the regional scene, and he looked not good. It did not. His ground game did not look good. He did get up and then knock the dude out, but it just wasn't a good look. And Fugitt, like, he surprised me. Like, he came in against Michael Morales on short notice. I think I had Morales like parlayed up, and I watched the first round, and I was like, I'm screwed. Like, I'm going to lose my money. And because he looked really good. What I really liked was the range striking. His jab is really nice. He's put together good combinations. He'll go body, head, mixes it up. I like his striking. He's a bit hittable, 45% striking defense. But again, you got to put it in context. It was against Michael Morales, who I think would probably smoke Kinoshita. So, there's some something to think about. But his offensive grappling too, I liked it against Morales. It was a nice double leg. It's not something he does often, but looked good. And against Kinoshita, it's probably in his best interest to do so. I think if he keeps it at range with the 6-inch reach advantage and the jab and mixes in some grappling, he should be okay. It's just every time Kinoshita is going to close the distance, I'm going to be like, fuck, and hoping for the best. So what do you think, Wiz?
Is this a shoey?
No, this is another plus 200. What are you trying to do to me, Wiz?
Trying to get you to drink.
Give me 2-1 then.
Let's parlay the two then. Okay, so parlays. Yeah, let's shoey parlays. I'm down. Kinoshita is making his debut. Obviously, big power, very acrobatic, and very athletic. That's a thing that he has that I think is going to win him this fight. the flying knees and multiple different strikes from different angles is going to serve him well here. And the slip counters are probably the nastiest thing in his arsenal, because when he uses his slip counters to advantage and he's landing them, oh baby, it's just home cooking. He's going after the guy. Talented striker. I'm gonna say Fugitt. Adam Fugitt. You know what? He impressed me against Solomon Renfro, who has been touted for a long time to be a UFC caliber fighter, training at Tiger Schulman's with the likes of Shane Burgos and his brothers. So, and he was a huge dog in that fight, mind you. And his leg kick to the head is just nasty. He shot that thing like 4 times in a row and just got him all woozy, even though Renfro was blocking it.
Looked like he was
So,
playing UFC 4.
yeah, he was spamming
Spamming
that
the
thing, and
head
it was
kick.
working. It was working. So the issue I have with Fugitt is that he's a poor grappler. Not the best. I'm not gonna like shade the guy here, but he's also not as talented on the feet, and his durability is a little questionable. The guy is a little bit older too, so we've seen this stat a bunch of times over the past couple of weeks where over a 10-year age advantage is like 66% to go, but that's UFC level fighters, not these two guys. I think Kinoshita is able to knock him out here pretty easily, whether it's in round 1 or round 2. Probably some flying knee or flying front flip, whatever it is. I do really like the under 2.5 a lot here, though. I think this fight finishes one way or another. So I'm going to have to take the under 2.5, as both guys love the violence. 83% of their combined fights have finished inside the 2.5. So
same side there with you, Wiz. I'm looking for the 2.5 also. Did it open yet? It didn't, right? Only on 5 dimes. Minus 125 though. If we get that, 2 units done.
Yep, 100%. Lose like tell the people who beat Renfro in the Contender Series.
You know why he's saying this? Because Wheezy will have an aneurysm. He hates that dude, and I actually don't remember his name right off the top of my head, so I'm not gonna go. I was gonna go look, but
I'm gonna look right
sake,
now because I can't remember either. It's been a minute.
Oh, here he goes. Lou's gonna tell us. Johnny, what's his last name? Parsons.
Johnny Parsons.
I remember.
Oh my god,
Johnny Parsons.
This guy is horrible. I think he's in the PFL right now, right?
Is he? I didn't see that.
Actually, no, never mind. I got him mistaken with another dude with a mullet.
I think Dana signed him. I think Dana signed Parsons. We haven't seen him, but I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he was supposed to have a fight with Michael Gilmore. Would have got canceled. Oh my god, Michael Gilmore's.
Yo, Gilmore probably would have won.
That was horrible. That was a very bad look for Renfro. But I think he'll be in the UFC eventually. He's just young.
Renfro, yeah. I mean, the Fugitt knockout didn't help his case at all.
Oh, no. He was right there. He was at the doorstep.
Dude's probably sick right now, but we'll move on to the next one. We've got Choi. What's it? Why am I blanking? Superboy, right?
Yeah, the Korean Superboy.
Yeah, the Korean Superboy. There he is. 14-4-0, coming back, 31 years old, 5'10" with a 70-inch reach. And I'm actually not positive where he's training from. I've got Team Mad. I'm pretty sure that's correct. Kyle Nelson, he's 13-5-0, 31 years old as well. 5'11", he's 1 inch taller. He's got a 71-inch reach, so he's got a 1-inch reach advantage. And he is training out of Muskoka Kickboxing. Wiz, I know you've got a play here. Why don't you start us off?
Well, as Lou would say, Kyle Nelson, the UFC's favorite Asian fighter. But yeah, this fight's gonna be a banger, and I'm probably gonna have 2 plays on this fight. I know you know a little bit about it. So Choi is an excellent fundamental boxer, really clean striking, really technical. 90% boxing though, no kicks in the striking game. Doesn't like to mix it up, and it has a grappling liability too. Poor head movement is an understatement to describe this guy because he just gets hit with everything. Man, this guy is so good if he can defend strikes. If he's pressured, it's going to be trouble. He hates being on the back foot. And that's the thing. Kyle Nelson is a guy that likes the pressure. And in the fight against Jai Herbert, although he lost, he didn't look half bad as a huge underdog. He was pressuring Herbert He got multiple takedowns in that fight, and he got a decent amount of control time. It was very close to flip into a Herbert loss there and a Nelson upset. So I think Nelson, he's not as gifted as a striker, but his activity is going to help him here. He might choose to stick with the grappling just to avoid the striking because his chin isn't the best either. My favorite bet on this fight is going to be the under 2.5. Again, both of the guys love the violence. They love getting finished or getting finishes. So give me the dog too. I like Cal Nelson because I think he can utilize the grappling and just drown Choi down the stretch and inside the distance via TKO.
Is this your Semmelsberger bet of the week?
This is my Semmelsberger bet of the week. Well, it's not as big of a dog as Semmelsberger was. He's only right now he's at plus 160, and some books have him plus 150. So the line
plus
is
180 on FanDuel.
I wish I had access to that.
Oh man, that sucks.
I don't gamble. But yeah, I like Cal Nelson here as the dog, and I like the under 2.5 even more.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I do favor Du Choi. I just think he's a better striker. I know Nelson shoots takedowns, but I feel like he kind of sucks there. Choi does not have a great takedown defense. It's at 50%. He's been shot on 8 times, defended 4. Not a great takedown defense on the guy, but I don't think that Nelson is that good of a wrestler. I lean Choi. It's just you can't bet the guy. He's been out since 2019. We have no idea what he's going to look like coming out of the Army. We really just have no clue. We don't know. Doesn't have a win since 2016. Like, these are big things to think about. I can't possibly play Choi, but I'm not about to play Kyle Nelson either. So I'm going to stay off there. I am going to play the under 2.5 if it's playable. And the other kind of thing I want to look at is fight ends by KO, because I don't see a submission happening here. And I don't think we hit the distance. So maybe they'll give that to us at good numbers. What's up, Wiz?
Nelson has a sneaky rear naked choke series, dude.
He does have 4 sub wins. Does have 4 sub wins. I wonder what they give that for. It's going to be like plus 1,500 probably.
I would love that.
You'll hit it?
I will hit it twice.
Should we do a 15-1 shoey bet?
If you
win, I have to take 15 shoeys. Nah, I would die, so I can't do that one. But we'll move on to another fight where they haven't been out since 2019. We've got Marcin Tybura versus Blagoy Ivanov. Tybura is 23-7-0. He's 37 years old, the older one in this fight somehow. 6'3" with a 78-inch reach, training out of Ankos MMA. On the other side, you've got Blagoy Ivanov. He's 19-4-0, 36. He's 1 year younger, 5'11". He's 4 inches shorter, and he's got a 73-inch reach, so he's given up 5 inches in reach. I'll start this one off, and I'm going to be on Tybura. You look at Ivanov, and I just don't see much to like. He's very small, first of all, for the division. 5'11" is a problem. He is big and thick, so I'll give him that. But I don't love him as a fighter. He's low output. He has a good jab. He has good combos. I can't say he's bad. He's certainly not bad. He's a good fighter, a good striker, but he's much better in the pocket than at range, in my opinion. He can wing and dip his head a bit. And Tybura, I think, has underrated striking. Even at range, I think he's a good striker. He's got a good jab. He's got good combinations. I think he's good in the pocket, too. He'll mix it up to the body. And I think he's going to have a good wrestling advantage here. I know that Ivanov has a combat sambo background, master in sport, I believe. But has he really used it much? Not really. He's got 6 takedowns in 6 UFC fights. Lewis took him down once, if we're going to talk about takedown defense. He's got a 77% takedown defense, but hasn't fought any good wrestlers, really. De Lima took him down once. Not a great look if you're going to fight Tybura either. So, yeah, I like Tybura quite a bit. He's going to be much larger as well. I think he's going to be stronger. You look at Ivanov, like when he's uncomfortable, he'll like to lean against the fence, push the guy against there. Tybura will just reverse. He does that stuff too, but he's way bigger than him. So I almost played Tybura when he was like minus 200 because I thought that was fair. And now it's coming down. He's minus 150. Money's still coming in on Blagoy. I'm just going to sit here and wait because maybe I can just play 2 units rather than 3, you know? So, Wiz, what are you thinking?
I'm on the same side here. And let's not forget to mention these guys have the weirdest nicknames, Tybur and Baga. So that's how I'm going to be referring to them in these breakdowns. Tybura is excellent in the clinch in the clinch. I was about to say crunch. He's excellent in the clinch, does the dirty boxing and all that. He loves to get the dirty boxing kind of control time type of fighter. That's the kind of fighter that Tybura is. Not the best striker, I would say, but he's definitely improved. I was very surprised to see that he was the older fighter in this matchup because if you look at the two guys, you would have to say that Tybura is like 5 years younger than Baga. Ivanov is one of the most durable fighters, though, in the division, so I don't think Tybura is going to be able to get him out necessarily. Uh, Ivanov lacks power. He will likely outstrike Tybura at distance, in my opinion, but I just think that Tybura is going to be able to take him down at will here just due to the sheer size disadvantage. He's so much bigger, 6'3" to 5'11", and then he has a 5-inch reach advantage. So what are we talking about here? Prince of Mischief said himself, big and thick.
Do you know what over 1.5 is? Guess.
Is it favored?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's favored. Don't tell me like a minus 200, 250.
Minus 375 on a heavyweight fight. I understand. I get it because of Blagoy Ivanov, but in a heavyweight fight, I mean, that's kind of
Nuts.
something I might have to play if we actually get those odds.
That's what I call like the fun money.
Yeah, I do think it'll probably go to decision. It does make sense, but not minus 325 cents.
Yeah. Yeah. I ultimately have to say Tybura decision here. And I'm going to be playing Tybura no matter what. I'm like you. I'm just going to wait until they hopefully give me this at a pick 'em.
That would be crazy. I'd be so hyped, but that would be silly. I think that would be silly. But we'll move on to the next one. We've got Da and Jung versus Devin Clark. Jung is 15-3-1, 29 years old. He's 6'4" with a 79-inch reach, training out of Korean Top Team. Let me double check that one. That's what I have.
Yep.
Devin Clark, he's 13-7-0, 32 years old. He's 3 years older, 6 feet tall. He's 4 inches shorter, and he's got a 75-inch reach. So he's given up 4 inches in reach. Training out of high altitude MMA. I know that he was at elevation before. I know a lot of people have been doing camps at high altitude as well. So, Wiz, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, so you have your classic striker versus grappler matchup here, where Devin Clark is the wrestler and Down Jung is the much better striker, or probably the only striker in this matchup because Devin Clark's hands are just non-existent. Jung, as I mentioned, great kickboxer, very dangerous at range. He has underrated power, in my opinion, and will be the much larger fighter. So I think that's going to serve to his advantage when Clark ultimately tries to shoot for multiple takedowns. He'll probably just fend him off and possibly reverse him because Jung is not a fish out of water on the ground either. The one thing that I like about Jung in this matchup specifically is that he's really good at range management. So even if Clark tries to shoot, he's probably going to be shooting a little bit further out in range, which is easy to telegraph, easy to dodge, and get away from. So, yeah, Clark is the wrestler, as I mentioned. If he can take Jung down over and over again, then he'll probably win a decision, but I do not see that happening whatsoever. So I'm going on Jung here. I will likely be betting him. I want to see if the line does move at all because I do see some people liking Devin Clark for some odd reason. I just think Jung will outstrike him and likely KO him in the second round.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm on Jung. 88% takedown defense. He's going to be way bigger. Devin Clark will maybe get him down, but good luck holding him down. And if he tries, he's going to exhaust himself. He does have good cardio, but it's going to be really hard. And the striking's not even close. It's Jung all day. Look, Devin Clark is close to my heart. I've hit my biggest prop ever on him, plus 2,300, round 3 KO. I was so hype. I was like, that's it. Devin Clark is my guy. But I'm not betting him here. I'm not. I'm going to back Jung, even if he's a favorite. I was going to do minus 200, but it looks like we might get something better. Money's still coming in on Devin Clark. I wish we had somebody who can, on that side, who can like tell us why, because I don't get it at all. I don't think he's going to get the wrestling off, and I think he's screwed on the feet. Jung by KO might be a spot I'll look at too, but it's probably going to be like even money.
Oh, yes.
But we'll move on to our main event, which I'm like so disappointed by. But we've got Derrick Lewis versus Sergey Spivak. Lewis is 26, 10-0. He's 37 years old, 6'3" with a 79-inch reach, and he does his own camp, I'm pretty sure. And on the other side with Spivak, we've got 15, 3-0. He's 28 years old, so he's going to be 9 years younger, 6'3" as well, 78-inch reach. He's giving up 1 inch in reach. And for his camp, I didn't write it down. I think it's Extreme Couture, but it says Polar Bear Team on Tapology, so we'll go with both for now. And yeah, I'll start this one. For me, it's pretty straightforward. When this fight first got made, I was on Spivak, and that's not going to change. Nothing has changed. I know Derrick Lewis put out, there was like a picture of him running where he looked like a 205er. Great, but like that's just going to make you smaller, not better. I don't really know how that's going to help his case. He's still low volume. He's still just a counter guy. He's relying on that counter, and he's not going to be able to do anything otherwise. His takedown defense isn't that great. I know we make jokes about Derrick Lewis just being able to stand up whenever he wants to, and it's pretty hilarious that he can do it most times. But look, I think even on the feet, Spivak will find success. I think he's got to be a moron to stay there, though, because if there's anything we know about Derrick Lewis, it's that he'll knock you out with 1 second left. It doesn't matter. He'll land. He's got crazy power. So hopefully this isn't like a Curtis Blades situation. That cost me a ton of money. I loved Curtis Blades there. And uppercut, boom, it's over. So that's entirely possible. So I'm hesitant to like really play Spivak. I don't know if I will. Maybe I'll parlay him with Jung or something. I don't know yet. I think he'll just be able to out wrestle Derrick Lewis, probably get a ground and pound TKO. But I don't know what I'm going to do with the fight yet. How about you, Wiz?
Yeah, I'm on the same side. I think Spivak on the feet is actually pretty well versed now. He's come a long way from when he first debuted in the UFC. So he's fallen in love with the striking a little bit more to mix in the grappling, which obviously has worked. And yeah, I just think he's going to get takedowns at will here. The ideal scenario in my head is he's going to tire Lewis out in the clinch and then shoot takedowns. Say Lewis defends the first or second one. On that third try, Lewis is going to be huffing and puffing, and he's going to get taken down. He's probably going to get finished via sub or via TKO. I'm not sure. I'm going to be leaning towards a TKO just given the recent history with Lewis and how his chin has slowly started to, what's the word I'm looking for? Deteriorate. So I think Spivak is the way to go here. It's very binary. I don't even think Lewis has the shot to knock him out here. He's a little bit slow now.
That's
And
brave.
if that's the only weapon that he has, it's going to be easy to defend against, in my opinion. So I'm going to have to go with Spivak. I'll probably play him straight, to be honest.
Yeah, I think that's probably what I'll end up doing too. We'll see though. But all right, guys, that's a card. It's definitely a card that exists, and it's one that we're gonna watch. But hopefully, 284 is gonna be a lot more fun.
What's the start time for this card?
Dude, I don't know exactly. On Tapology, it's completely incorrect. It says 10 p.m. Eastern time, and I know that's wrong. Let me check.
I know it has a weird starting time.
I usually check next UFC, but they've been off recently also. Yeah, they don't even have the time.
Let me try and find this real quick.
I heard it's starting like 1 a.m. Eastern time, something like that, which is like pretty crazy because I don't know if I'm going to stay up all the way, honestly, not for this card. I might just watch the Road to UFC guys and then just wake up, watch the rest afterwards.
Let's see, where is this at? So, prelims start at 10 Eastern. And then main card starts at 1 Eastern. Luckily for me, I'm on the West Coast, so that's 10 p.m. Pacific for the main card. But I might be at the Bellator event because it's going to be out here on the same day.
That's sick. I'm going to be breaking that one down next week. I'm hyped about it. It's a good card.
It is. I'll be excited for that.
Real quick before we go, my guy Abraham, Mateus Braun's line swung all the way to, yeah, I just pulled it up for a LFA 151. That's what he's talking about, Wiz. It's pretty crazy. Braun's opened up minus 275. Now he's plus 111. I did not expect that. I think people are probably watching Marciano Ferreira and just being like, all right, he's got better volume, better striking, and he can probably wrestle here too. But the one thing that kept me off of Ferreira, even when he was like plus 200, was watch him wrestle. He just sticks his head in there like super sloppy. And Bronze he's got a good guillotine. He's got good front chokes. I think there's a high chance he submits him. So I'm still going to stay off. But if someone liked Bronze before at minus 200, should definitely hit it at plus 111.
I personally think that Ferreira takes it. I think he has a significant grappling edge here. Bronze is long and a little bit better of a striker, but he doesn't seem sufficient off his back. And the poor defensive tendencies are just going to be very disadvantageous for him in this fight. I like that Ferreira doesn't get discouraged when going for takedowns. Like, he'll shoot over and over again because he has the gas tank for it. He's not the best technical wrestler, but relentless. So I favor him in this fight. So I see why the line moved. That's probably my only bet for tomorrow on LFA.
Oh, really? What did you get him at? I wish I pulled the trigger at 200. I'm kicking myself now.
145.
Plus?
Yeet.
Nice. Yeah, at that point, I was like, nah, I don't like it anymore. But he should win. He should win. All right, guys. That's a card. And thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you to my guy Wiz for being here. Wiz, why don't you tell the people where to find you real quick? I'm sure they already follow you, but just in case.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me again. It's always fun doing this, and I love being on the show. You can find me at WizBets on all platforms, whether it's Twitter or YouTube. I do all sports, so MMA, football, basketball, baseball when the season starts, tennis. I do it all.
You and Lou been killing the football, right?
Yeah, the football this season has been the best season I think I've ever bet the sport. It's been ridiculous. So thankful for that. And the past couple of days, we've been up more than 8 units combined in the past 2 days. So looking to keep this hot streak going with basketball, and then going into MMA this weekend because we have the LFA fights and we have the PFL Challenger Series, and then with this card the week after. So really excited for the future. And yeah, again, if you guys haven't already, please like and subscribe to this video, please. It's worth it. This guy is putting in effort week in, week out. One of the most dedicated content creators that is out there, quite frankly. So shout out to my
guys. Appreciate you. On that note, I do have a video up for LFA 151. I do have a video up for PFL Challenger Series. It was made before the 2 fight changes, so sorry about that one. I will say, though, from those 2 fight changes, I do favor Ali's new opponent. I'm blanking on his name. Kenley St. Louis. I favor him there, but not at these odds. No way. And then I like Joseph Whitner over Drusola, but also no way at these odds. Was anything there?
PFL Challenger Series is just it's like the Contender Series where these fighters don't really have a big name. It's hard to find the tape on them, and quite frankly, I don't want to lay the chalk because there's a lot of chalk on that card. It's only 4 fights, so not really interested. But at least we have some MMA to watch.
I'm hyped to see Lucas Barbosa make his debut. That should be fun. But at minus 265, please nobody play that. Please. I know he's got to win over Gilbert Burns and BJJ. Don't do it. But all right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and have a good one. Good luck with any bets this weekend.